RRQ, but I can tell you, they are thanking the boys. 7 points so far on the leaderboard. All thanks to RRQ falling time and time again to them. But Onyx up against Dragons. Dragons starting off the day hot and then simmered off real quickly right after that. I wonder where all of that extra firepower went, but up against Onyx now, it looks like they don't want to make a pathway straight for a quick battle. They want to look for that circle. So they're going to make a long rotation in towards the next zone. They've got a rough idea heading straight towards Space Camp.
And if you're Dragon Esports, you could consider going to Vantage or Ride, depending on how much resource you want to loot up before the next phase. But it's generally safe if you look at the map at this current at this point of time. They do have some veterans we've seen before. Yasser, for example, Remind, who have played for the Middle Eastern region for plenty of international tournaments. I think this current situation is good for most of the teams that coincidentally all predict the circle to end up on the northeastern side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, 8 years into the game, almost everybody knows how to read the circles of Free Fire already. You can see every single squad heading straight in towards base camp, because that's exactly what the pathway is looking to be like, right? Circle's going to shrink a little bit more, still going to be centered around base camp, and then perhaps moving up a little bit towards Alpha 34. This is perfect positioning for these big squads, looking for that early ground to play a good defense.
What a good read. This is experience and homework really paying off. BRU, they are already in the thick of it. And this is a team that has, over time, started to slow down a little bit, play a lot more calculated, and only strike when the iron is hot. But now they are forced into a situation where they might have to start shooting early, and that could be a point of change for the team. With so many teams around that could punish them. Hotshot, though, made a full recovery. Now they're going to come in from the southern side of the map through Stadium and Rivermouth.
75 points. It's a lot compared to what they've been able to show us previously in those years on the global stage. This is very impressive from Hotshots, but we want to see them at least cross that 100-point mark. A little bit of a replay earlier on as well. You saw how R7 got the job done. A little bit off meta here with the Trogon, but it served them well. Speaking of off meta, Trogon, Jonah, and Wasana holding on to those guns. We had big questions. What is Wasana going to do without his Tatsuya? I'm pretty curious as to how he's going to handle it as well. Thus far, past 2 games, they haven't been doing all that too good.
We even saw Wasana talking about how when he came into the team, everyone helped him get to his feet, to play like a team, to play like a family and then friends, and to get him up to speed. It took him almost more than 1 year to get their first trophy, to finally prove that he belongs in BRU, even though all of us said that he is the perfect fit, but they needed an achievement to cement that fact. Now EWC is going to be that redemption arc. Moshi takes contact as Alpha 34 now rushes into the building. The attic fight is going to be very, very congested as body starts to hit the floor. Lin's first to go down. Wasana with the Trogon once more, just pumping out bullets right into the ribcage as Jonah finds Hisechi. BRU coming out with the big wins, with the big guns, with the big shots, and Alpha 34 is no more.
Yeah, Alpha 34 just rushed into their deaths. They should have gone in there for the full-on commitment. Instead, prematurely pulling up those glue walls, just the wrong idea. Drogon straight to those glue walls, instantly ripping them down. And obviously, Buriram taking full advantage of that situation. Free 4 points for the Thai dominant squad. But of course, this is their recovery game in Game 4 now. We want to see exactly how far they can move with that. R7, on the other hand, flirting with the blue right outside the circle, just tanking a little bit of damage as they go in for that long rotation round.
There's a chance that they run into RRQ again at dock. You see RRQ are making their rotation too. A big scan with the binoculars from RRQ. I believe 2 of them, and that's a big crowd that they just spotted out. RRQ do not want to interact with anyone at this point of time. But for Onyx, they might not have a choice. They see RRQ and Ma'al, he's a sitting duck, lands on top of the tower, but what do you do at this point? Hotshot hears the gunshots, and they will be ready.
Yeah, this next circle, Buriram is actually betting big here that the circle is going to be looking for them instead of base camp. So Sunside is a very low probability. It still moves on towards base camp, but thankfully Buriram doesn't really need to travel all that too far. RRQ, on the other hand, losing a bay at this point of time, that's going to be torturous. Looking for a vending machine in such a crowded base camp is going to be close to impossible.
It's pretty safe to call it for RRQ because this game has not gone that way at all. They don't have anything to work with, and in this current spot, minimal loots, minimal cover. Just gotta pray for just 1 or 2 extra placement points. But for R7. Carousel used to be safe, but with a rotation from BRU, there's a chance that because the circle didn't end on Sunside, they could pivot towards Carousel.
Yeah, I just expected them to just strut in towards Sunside. Instead, they wanted to go for the long rotation. Unfortunate for them, R7 had the exact same idea. Now, Buriram gets to gatekeep R7. We'll catch up with that action in a little bit. The Lost Boys, on the other hand, very, very far away from base camp. As they move on in, they are at risk of being gate-capped by two squads, Vitality as well as Dragons, and this could just serve Dragons up really well. As Vitality puts in that hard work, they could look to steal away some crucial points off of loss.
Not only that, Core Memory and Esports are also around the corner, right? That could escalate into a 4-squad fight. But R7 and BRU, unfortunately, will have to duke it out in a very fair fight. Only one that can knock it out. As Haone in general fell to the feet. What happened? They broke their ankle somehow, but brought back up pretty quickly. As our attention turns back to R7, BRU, all gathering around the low ground behind the monster truck. Games King has a good angle, doesn't get the shot that he needs as BRU now splits up.
Yep, Wasana getting away from danger in the nick of time here. Cassie's electrotherapy already connected, already under the bridge like the trolls Buriram are sometimes. They run away from these boys, get high, everybody's tagged. Games King just so accurate with those shots.
And Hax, he has a chance to intercept it, but Jonah now makes the call to turn around. Games King finally catches Wasana. We see the Tatsuya dash in front, has a step in hand as Hax gets knocked down by an ability from BRU. Della getting knocked down by Jonah. The turnaround of BRU again. When you strike at the Kings, you best not miss. And R7, unfortunately, have missed the fatal blow. Joker will just be a past memory. BRU triumphs over them.
And you can thank Tiva for that, baby. Instantaneous pickup. Buriram with that instant recovery, turning the tables on R7. And this was that exact moment that we talked about that could happen. Buriram gatekeeping R7, but now because of that extended fight, they are on the back foot looking for the circle. They have to cross paths with two very strong Indonesian squads, RRQ as well as Onyx, and RRQ actually has got the high ground advantage. Buriram in a lot of trouble unless they whip out a jump pad.
Not only that, RRQ are at their weakest moment. There isn't a world, a universe where RRQ could mess up the rotation of BRU, but aside from that, you remove them from the picture. This is as clear as it gets for BRU to run straight into base camp for that rotation, as Lost now takes on Hotshot Esports. Sajid and Anas getting knocked down very quickly. The Red Tyrant is making it even hard to defend themselves. Unfortunately, there is just no backup plan. Action has to watch it out go down as his teammates perish one by one.
Yeah, Woodpecker backing away at the boys of Hotshot. And of course, you can hear the shots of the AWM off of the players of Lost as well. And unfortunately, for the side of Hotshots, they could not withstand all of that action. Dragons, they just kept their heads down low, not wanting to interfere in this engagement at all. They could have pulled off a swift backstab there, but that was a lost opportunity. And now the Lost Boys are about to make them pay. But Hanaral goes down first. Rigby, M590 circles around. Demox from the back. Can he get it with the SMG? Sifu is the one that gets it done. Rawan is the next player down on the ground. Lost did not expect this, and they are getting wiped by the most unsuspecting squad out there from EMEA.
The Dragons once more roar and soar into the skies. Now they get a safe spot. Onyx did get wiped out by BRU off screen as BRU's war path continues straight into the circle. That retired them goes straight over to Narnia, hitting no one. Crucial ability on cooldown this late into the game. A124 in the hands of Koja. Vitality, Booyah winners of the previous rounds, but the kill feed lights out once more, and it's all blue, but BRU are the ones that are winning.
Yeah, nobody gate-capped Buriram, and unfortunately, EVOS is the one that prays, and it wasn't even some CQCs. They were taking those long shots from afar. Extra 2 points collected, and now that puts EVOS at risk. They cannot find the Booyah that easily. Core Memory up against EVOS. Buriram joining the fray as well, but they take the top of the roof. This is going to give them a little bit of an advantage, but also pulling in the attention from Vitality's grenade.
And BRU already has 15 eliminations under the belt. If there's a time to stop them, it is going to be now, or they will run away with the group stage. RRQ finally eliminated, but Zenzi starts it up. Cougar with the follow-up. Cool down BRU. Wasana finally confirmed as Get High gets back up, intercepted by 5's MKS. Core Memory and Vitality have a singular mission, and it's to wipe out BRU, and they get the job done.
Oh, beautifully done here, and Sifu finding Koja from the back. Will Dragons be able to rip away their Booyah here at the expense of Vitality? They do have digs right up on top of the roof with the burn bird's eye view, but the glue wall melters all laid out already, and the circle favoring the EMEA squad as well. Dragons stand a strong chance, but unfortunately this is going to drag in all of the rest of the squads towards them as well.
Vitality caught in a conundrum. Which poison do you pick? Do you fight the Middle Eastern team, the Dragon Esports, or do you run straight into Core Memory? Because both of them will turn them into dust and into the past. Core Memory is their pick, and that costed them 2 bodies. Evos now joins the equation. AimGod takes out Diggs. Hotshot still has a survivor, but this is most likely going to be between Core Memory and Dragon Esports. 4 teams remain.
Unbelievable stuff here. Core Memory with the consistency, but Dragons just showing that they want to make it through to Point Rush. Yes, here down on the ground, Cougar's gonna make sure that he gets put out. But from up top, Recifu finding one great connection with jump, pulls out a glue wall to block himself off for an important pickup onto Remind. He doesn't have the Diva. A tad bit slow there. Thankfully, no grenades fighting the players of Dragon on the roof.
There's a chance that Evos messes this up. And in fact, even Evos has to deal with the remnants of Hotshot. As Cougar rejoins the rest of his team in that ground floor circle, will move to the western side of this compound a little bit. A lot more building to work with. Great nice action in the back line. Ray still surviving, but now has to dip into the shadows. Hotshot out in 4th place, and another top 4 finish for the Pakistanis.
Yeah, but that's good enough for Pakistan, man. I mean, getting in towards the top 4 after struggling a tad bit there. Good on them. We want to see more, but can Dragons do the impossible? Can they wrap up a solid booyah here at Alpine? Core Memory, they've got the numbers. Evos, on the other hand, just need to play the game of survival. Ray circling on towards Dragons. This might just be a potential distraction that Dragons go for, and unfortunately, Core Memory can take advantage of this.
This could also be slowly shaping up into one of those unexpected but very welcome storylines, the underdogs of this competition. Dragon Esports versus the underdogs of Thailand. Core Memory, one of their better performers, I would say one of their best performers so far in the group stage. Dragon are down 1 man, and that is something that Core Memory can work with. But as the siren sounds for the last time, Core Memory takes a shot in the back. Remind has all of them confirmed. Let's see if Dragon can close this out.
You hear those drums of liberation in the background, gearing us up for a solid booyah. Who takes it? Thailand, or are we gonna see EMEA walk away with a solid booyah? Ray's in trouble. The players surround him at 590. He's hanging on for his dear life and will tag the blue. EMEA doesn't cast. Seamox finds him, but that also sacrifices a little bit of their health. And I did not expect a revive to come out of nowhere. But now Cougar and squad wrapping on in, waiting for the circle to drag Dragons towards themselves.
This revive most likely would just be a distraction at most. Seafolk taking plenty of damage from Core Memory. But at least for Dragon Esports, there is an X factor. Don finds Yasir, and that is the guy that just got brought back. They get vision. Remind can see it, but cannot fire. Down to a 3v4. Seafolk now. Remind! What a shot! But Zenzi instantly finds the trade, and Remind left all alone, and he cannot do it. Core Memory locks it in. First booyah for the team.
Core Memory with the solid plays. But props to Dragon Esports, man. Out of nowhere, the underdogs getting it done. This was one of the hardest underdog circles we've seen so far.
We almost were about to witness a Group C takeover for day number 2, but thank goodness Vitality stepped up in the previous game, and then Core Memory. But it still does not take away the fact that Group C came in swinging. Dragons Esports, good round 1. Game 2 and Game 3, not the best, but Game 4 was another opportunity to show them that the Middle Eastern region are constantly evolving.
And Core Memory so close to that #1 spot already, putting in enough work, solid number of points as well. I believe 12 eliminations they walked away with in that matchup towards the very end. And that's the kind of performance you want to be chugging out in these lobbies. You don't need to aim for the skies all the time. You just want to have more than 10 eliminations, get to that final circle, and you're pretty much good enough to get your squad into Point Rush. That was a valiant effort turned into a solid booyah.
And at the end of the day, it depends on the perspective of the players. How do you want to finish the knockout stage? Do you want to finish in the lead and make a statement piece right off the bat? Or do you just want to do the bare minimum, make it through to Point Rush, and then start showing all your cards? And I think in this case, teams like Hotshot and Dragon Esports are looking at the latter. But teams like BRU, Core Memory, they're looking to instantly tell the world that they are here to take the trophy away. And if you don't step up, you will not not stand a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, this was a shocker for everyone, no doubt whatsoever. But Lost kind of losing that opportunity a tad bit late. But of course, we've got Yunso out there with an interview set up for us. Let's see exactly who she's got with her.
All right then, thank you AJ and Husky. And here's our little interview of our Kuga here. สวัสดีค่ะKuga โอเคค่ะเป็นยังไงบ้างอะ
อะไรนะครับ
เป็นยังไงบ้าง
ก็
เป็นยังไงบ้างครับ
ดีใจครับที่เปิดบูย่าแรกได้ก็โฟกัสเข้ารอบชิงครับ
so we are pretty happy and excited that finally we be able to get the first booyah and from now on we're gonna focusing on getting to the championship.
Oh, that's really good to hear. So our second questions. Okay, Cougar, so how do you feel about when your team we are having a change of a player named Ston? How do you feel about him? Does it make a huge difference in our game?
ก็ในทีมมีเปลี่ยนเพลเยอร์มา1 คนใช่ไหมฮะคิด